It's working. Welcome back again. Another Trusty Ape show. Today's topic is masturbation. And is it wrong? According to Christians, according to a lot of Christians, yeah, it is. So I wanted to hear some commentary about it. Trying the same formula from yesterday. It seemed to work all right for a little bit. I switched Wi-Fi networks, so StreamYard seems to like this one better, at least for the time being. I still have the other one available if I need to switch up. So I want to start out with this video from Smart Christian's channel. I haven't heard anything from Smart Christian's channel in a while. So, is masturbation sinful? So look at the trees. See again with Silver Wolf. Silver Wolf actually reminded me that I was supposed to be doing this stream this morning, but I ended up taking a nap.
That 90 to 95% of males either currently or have in the past masturbated, and that stat isn't that much better for women. It's not a problem for just males, but also with females, because there are stats that say that about 80 to 85% of
And you couldn't hear that. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's Law. I had to reconnect my Bluetooth. So hopefully this starts working here.
women also masturbate. And also shocking is that it's not an issue that's just reserved simply for single people. Also shocking.
Okay. Start the video over because I couldn't hear him clearly for the first part. Ready, set, go.
Is masturbation a sin? And if it is, are there ever any circumstances where it's not a sin? Hey, Smart Christians, welcome back. There are statistics that say that 90 to 95% of males either currently or have in the past masturbated, and that stat isn't that much better for women. It's not a problem for just males, but also with females, because there are stats that say that about 80 to 85% of women also masturbate. And also shocking is that it's not an issue that's just reserved simply for single people, but also married people. Between 70 to 75% of people, if we believe these stats, of married people also engage in masturbation. Someone once said that half of the people masturbate and the other half lie about not masturbating. We're not really sure.
See, in the case of married people, is it like, is it a way, if their partner's not satisfying them, they don't go out and do adultery, right?
Sure if these stats are accurate, but one thing we can know is that a lot of people do it and struggle with it. And so for the people, particularly the Christian community, who wonder, is this a sin? And then also, how do I stop? Let's go ahead and address this biblically. Now,
Good point.
unfortunately, the Bible doesn't speak a whole lot about the actual sin, the act of masturbation. However, it does speak about some of the things that are tied to masturbation. Obviously, most people would agree that in order to engage in it, there has to be some sort of lustful thoughts. There has to be an object, some person that is thought of when masturbating. Well, that obviously takes us to Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. It says that Jesus says, "You have heard it said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent or lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart." And so it's clear that just these lustful thoughts, according to the scriptures, are a sin. It's pretty hard for a person.
You like lust after like your own partner or like the person that you'd like to be partnered with? Like, isn't that something that would be condoned? Like, you'd think you would want to be attracted to your
Person to
partner.
masturbate not having any lustful thoughts about someone. One of the passages that gets brought up a lot about masturbation is in Genesis 38 about Onan. However, when we look at the passage, it's really not speaking about masturbation. So let's just go there and take a look at the text. In chapter 38, verse 9, but Onan knew that his offspring would not be his. So whenever he went into his brother's wife, he would waste the semen on the ground so as not to give offspring. And what he did was wicked in the sight of the Lord. And
so he's screwing his brother's wife. He doesn't want to get her pregnant. So in this case, he pulls it out, right?
He put him to death. The issue here was not masturbation. As a matter of fact, this wasn't a one-time thing. This was something that happened repeatedly. And because it was the younger brother whose responsibility was to provide an heir or an offspring for his older brother who's no longer alive, to have an heir or to have a child with his wife, Onan didn't want to do that. And so God punished him for that. And the punishment was not for masturbation. The punishment was for not doing what was required of him. So we really can't look at that particular.
This guy for not knocking up his brother's wife because his brother is dead apparently, right? So
Passage. Now there is one passage that would also help to shed some light on this because, again, masturbation is clearly an issue of the flesh. It is a desire of the flesh, a desire to gratify oneself absent of their spouse. It'd be hard for a single person to make the claim that they can masturbate because what they're doing is they're engaging in some sort of sexual activity without a spouse. And to do so lustfully is, again, a sin. But the same holds true also for someone who's married because you're doing something that is reserved for a sexual act that is reserved for the confines between a man and a woman, a husband and a wife. So Peter says in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11, he says, "Beloved, I urge you as sojourners and exiles to abstain from the passions of the flesh which wage war against your soul." So we are told to abstain from these passions of the flesh that wage war against our soul. What happens is, if we're not careful, and it'd be hard not to have it happen, is when you engage in this, it will take your focus and your attention off of what you are supposed to be doing. It
doesn't sound like some Ray Comfort shit, huh?
will take your focus off of serving the Lord. One of the byproducts, or one of the things associated with masturbation necessarily has to be pornography. Now, not necessarily speaking about X-rated videos or websites or channels to go to and things like that, but also just places where you can go to, such as certain clubs and things like that, even listening to certain songs that will conjure up pornographic thoughts. The porn industry is a multi-billion-dollar.
Listening to certain songs that will conjure up pornographic thoughts, like Madonna or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like what would. But that's like the music video, right? Not the song. Well, maybe there's a couple now.
Industry, and we see no signs of it slowing down because people have these fantasies and they want to gratify themselves as a result of these fantasies. We are told by Paul in Romans chapter 13, verse 14, he says, "But put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the flesh to gratify its desire." So obviously masturbation is gratifying the desires of the flesh. And he's saying, don't make any provisions. Similarly,
yeah, but it's better to compare the flesh is like food, right? So you have to gratify some desires of the flesh, like basic human needs,
If a
right? Like,
person is single but dating someone, and the person decides to go out and buy condoms just in case something happens, that at least this won't lead to a pregnancy. Well, that person is making a provision for sin, giving a out, so to speak. The same thing for masturbation. Don't do things that would cause you to go down this road. Because the way the body is hard.
so I don't even think he's going to probably address this. We'll see. But, like I was thinking, earlier, like what about like little kids? Like you don't even have like knowledge of sex yet. And then they like get aroused if they don't know why it's happening. They might even like prematurely ejaculate, like the young boys. And like they don't even have an inkling of their sexuality, right? It's just something that occurs. Like they have no control over it. Would that be sinful?
Hardwired with the brain. These particular activities, because they're self-gratifying, will cause a certain chemical reaction in the brain that would cause you to look forward to and seek out this self-gratification. The continual practice of it would cause the body to crave it, to desire this particular action, even when there's no real increased sexual desire to do so. In other words, a person doesn't have to be triggered by some sort of sexual desire or a thought or view. If they continue this, the body ends up craving the reaction, the feeling. Oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. When this stuff kicks in, and granted, you can talk to a
drugs and alcohol now, or I'm not sure what is he referring to. But it's not
doctor
about
who would know better than me. But when these chemical reactions occur in the body and in the brain, your body craves that feeling. The sensation and the feeling become something that your body looks for every day, and it can become a normal course, a normal routine, a normal part of your lifestyle. And that can become a problem, especially with your relationships, either with your spouse or your relationship with a future spouse. Now, for some people, this would be a sin, but there are some people who are not quite sure. But typically what happens when a person does engage, especially for a believer, there's this feeling of guilt, this feeling that I should not have done so. And so, which is probably why
we're told at a young age that you shouldn't do that, right? Somebody read that passage in the Bible. So it's not like inherent guilt. It's inherent from being raised in the faith.
why most folks ask the question, is it a sin? Because something in their mind or their heart is telling them, maybe I ought not do so. Well, even on that account, James addresses it in James chapter 4, verse 17. He says, so whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. We are supposed to be sowing to the spirit and not to the flesh. And what does it say? If we sow to the flesh, we'll reap of the flesh corruption. Now, some will say, and I've had this question before, what if the person that I am lusting after and masturbating to is my spouse? Well, clearly it's okay to lust after the spouse. And the truth be told, there really is no passage that says don't do that. However, let me give you this warning. Doing so can end up causing in that person's mind, even subconsciously, can create an alternative to that person's spouse. Even if the person is single, it can create an alternative to a potential spouse. It becomes a barrier, especially once they get married, that the new spouse would have to overcome. Because in the back of their mind, there's one person that at least gets me sexually. Or in the event of a married couple, when they are engaged in an argument or separated, what have you, that person will say, well, I can go and gratify myself. I don't need you. And because every time that you do so, you are thinking of, you're fantasizing not about the spouse, but about someone else, especially when the arguments come on, because it's hard to imagine someone
to let one person turn you on. And like, how are you even supposed to have control over that? Like, or if somebody else turns you on, you're supposed to like walk away, like avert your eyes.
being upset with their spouse and then going and gratifying themselves, thinking about or fantasizing about the spouse that they're angry with. But let's just say, even if that is a possibility, again, that becomes an alternative that you do not want to create. It would be my counsel that if a person is separated for business or what have you, any particular reason why they cannot have a time with their spouse, well, then I think that God has made it to where that we have the ability to resist. we know we're told that one of the fruits of the Spirit, the karpos, the result of having the Holy Spirit in us, is self-control. And from abstaining and utilizing self-control in that area would possibly, I would say, would likely build up a desire. So when the people come back together, what God intended in the first place would be more gratifying, would be more enjoyable in the confines, again, that God has created between a man and a woman who is married. But if this becomes a daily routine, it becomes a part of your life, and then now it has mastery over you. It's now what's dictating how you walk, how you talk, where you go. And so for some people there, you're going to have to make a decision not to go certain places, not to do certain things, not to be with certain people. The way this works, according to James, he says, but each person is...
Okay. You say, like, if somebody turns you on to the point of lust, you should just not go to that place. Like, what if it's your coworker? Like, you quit your job because, like, your coworker turned you
tempted
on?
when he
Something
is
like,
lured and enticed by his own desires. Then the desire, when it is conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. And so the more you think about something, the more that thought can be used, can be pushed to become a sinful desire. And then it as it stays in your brain, it's conceived and leads to sin. Think about the devil in the garden with Eve.
I mean, I agree, Silver Wolf. I mean, there's self-control. I think it was Sapolsky that said that self-control is a finite resource. Um, we all only have like, so much in store, and
All he simply did was whisper or promote what she already had been thinking about, the fruit. And then obviously it led to sin. Same thing with this. And so just as we've been told not to present an occasion or open up an occasion for sin, you're going to have to avoid certain sites that you go to, listening to certain songs, watching certain TV shows that would cause this desire, this heightened arousal between the person. Leave that alone. It's not, I can promise you this, it's not healthy. If it were healthy, God would have told us about it. And so, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. We know they struggle with it because, one, they ask the question, but two, after they're through, there's this guilt, this stain. And if it were something from God, there would not be any question, any doubt. There would not be any sort of remorse because of it. And so, again, since the Bible says to, if we sow to the Spirit, what would happen? Let's make that our point. Let's seek out opportunities to gratify the Spirit, to be involved with the Spirit, be that more prayer time. I know it's difficult. More reading time. Again, I know it's difficult. More fellowship with someone of the same sex that you can also have fellowship with.
you're attracted to that person of the same sex.
And then let the intimacy between you and God suffice, especially until you have the time to have this intimacy fulfilled between you and your spouse. Amen.
Not really. I mean, I do agree that if you're in a committed relationship, it's probably healthier to be, uh, having sex with your spouse than masturbating most of the time. Some spouses masturbate together. All right, let's see what this is. This is breaking the habit. Uh, channel? That's the channel. I've never seen this one before. Masturbation, a mortal sin.
Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on StreamYard. Have you ever done a recording?
I know. Get ad block. I'm working on it, okay? Try and sell my car that cash for junk cars, please.
Theology, it depends. This is Catholicism in Focus. One of the most common sins I hear confessed in the sacrament of penance is that of pornography and masturbation. I can't tell you who's saying it, but I can say it's a struggle for a lot of people. Some consider it merely a bad habit they know they should stop, while others see it as a sin so grave it removes them from communion with the church. Who's right? As with many things in Catholic moral theology, it depends. This is Catholicism in Focus.
Welcome to Jamie Russell, Christian Middle Earth. Which is much better and has purpose and makes more human? Oh, yeah, right. Having sex with your spouse. Correct. I mean, it definitely has I don't know, but I think masturbation could have some psychologically fulfilling purpose. I don't know. I think there's a reason we all usually are inclined to do it at a young age unless we're taught not to.
Over the past few decades, the barriers limiting access to pornography and the stigma attached to masturbation have all but disappeared. Now it takes nothing more than internet access and anyone can watch pornographic material. For many people, these practices are normal, healthy, and entirely unproblematic, even for children. No. Despite this cultural shift, the Catholic Church has remained steadfast in its long-held stance condemning the practice as selfish and disordered. Both the magisterium of the Church, in the course of a constant tradition, and the moral sense of the faithful have declared without hesitation that masturbation is an intrinsically and seriously disordered act. Two important categories are used here. First, it is an act that is disordered, meaning that it seeks an end which is incompatible with its purpose. All objects have an end or purpose for which it was created. Use a hammer to drive in nails, to use it as a weapon.
I think I've heard that told as yeah, masturbation is technically homosexuality, and well, yeah, I don't know what you'd call that.
Or paperweight would be disordered. For sexual activity, the end for which it was created is twofold: procreation and unity between married couples. To act in a sexual manner outside of these ends, say for pleasure alone by oneself, would be a disordered act. But simply being disordered in itself does not necessitate that something is gravely ill or even always wrong. Occasionally.
So, and I gotta ask on that note, is it so your spouse can't jerk you off either? Like, is that unacceptable too? Or I don't know, because then isn't it? Seems like it'd be different. She just can't jerk you off till you come, right? You can jerk you off, and then you gotta. Sorry.
Eating to excess is disordered, but it is far from grave, and eating as an act in itself is a good thing. For this reason, the Church has also designated masturbation as serious and an evil that is intrinsic. Serious is obvious, signifying that it is no run-of-the-mill sin, but one with grave implications, while intrinsic notes that there is something inherent to the act itself that is evil. No matter the situation, no matter the intention, it is wrong. These terms are often used together, but it's important to distinguish between them. Killing is a serious evil, but not an intrinsic evil, as self-defense is justifiable. Lying, on the other hand, is intrinsically evil, always wrong, but not necessarily serious. For the Church, masturbation is intrinsically and seriously disordered, meaning that it deals with a grave misuse of an action and that it is always wrong, leading many, quite naturally, to conclude that doing so constitutes a mortal sin. But this is not necessarily true, because that is not how mortal sins work. As I discussed in a previous video, designating something a mortal sin requires 3 criteria be met. The action deals with grave matter, is acted upon with full knowledge, and results from one's full consent of will. We've already established that the Church considers masturbation dealing with grave matter, so we look now to full knowledge. Many people know exactly what they're doing when they look at pornography and masturbate. They know that it is wrong for them to do, that they are participating in an industry that encourages extortion, abuse, slavery, and even abortion, and that the effects are severe. But this is not always the case. According to the Catechism, there is what is described as unintentional ignorance. When one does not know what they're doing is wrong or understand the gravity of their actions, the imputability of their offenses can be diminished. In this situation in particular, we know that there are some who are very young or have mental or emotional limits that prevent them from fully understanding the gravity of the situation. In such cases, it cannot be a mortal sin. This does not, however, excuse what the Church describes as feigned ignorance and hardness of heart, willfully turning from a virtuous life, or doing what is required to understand natural moral laws. You can't just plead ignorance to try to get away with things. At some point in your life, there are certain things you should just know. What is far more ambiguous in the eyes of the church is the criteria of complete consent of will. While we don't believe that anyone is ever without free will, there are constantly forces impeding and acting upon us. Paragraph 1735 of the Catechism teaches, imputability and responsibility for an action can be diminished or even nullified by ignorance, inadvertence, duress, fear, habit, inordinate attachments, and other psychological or social factors. Is this something that happened while you were sleeping or just after waking, a time when you were not fully conscious of what you were doing? Is it the result of a deep-seated habit that has a tight grip on you for years? Are you under immense psychological stress? Did someone force you to do this? If any of these are the case, the designation of mortal sin likely does not apply. Now, this is not to say that claiming it as a habit frees one from any guilt or that it's all of a sudden okay. Far from it. Even if it is a situation of diminished consent, it may not technically be a mortal sin, but it is still participation in grave evil, which can do great harm. One's freedom may be limited, yes, but it is never extinguished. There is always the ability to ask for help, to give all of your will to resist, to do what is necessary to avoid the near occasion of sin. No matter the situation or circumstances, there is still a responsibility to do what you can to avoid evil. And so, is masturbation a mortal sin? Sometimes yes, for sure. There are some who know what they are doing is wrong, give little resistance, and feel no contrition. This undoubtedly separates one from God and His church and must be taken extremely seriously. But in other cases, absolutely not. There are loads of people trying their best, wanting nothing more than to please God, only to find themselves deeply gripped by addictive behavior. This is not the same situation. It may be the same action and certainly has negative effects on one's soul, but it doesn't cut one off from God. To those people, I say this: relax. Seek the help you need. Keep trying as hard as you can. Come to confession and trust in the mercy of God. He will not cast away anyone who desires to be with Him.
All right. Yeah. Let's see, Jamie says, I remember at a concert, the Vandals were talking between songs, and one of them asked, "It is gay if you tattoo a B on the B." The answer seems to be yes. Changed my mind. Classic. Those guys are fucking hilarious. What's up, Ox? Carol K, good to see you. And so right now, I think what I'm probably going to do here, get this little linky poo, put it down in the side chat if anybody wants to come discuss. And my view is that masturbation is probably like one of the most natural things we do. And as I said earlier, it probably fulfills some emotional and psychological needs. And it's probably more harmful to repress. But, that's my opinion, man. From what I know, what I've heard, read, seen, and such. So probably take myself off of here. And now just this guy. Maybe he wants to come in, as I might share another video. There were a few up there. There we go. Jamie, look.
I'm intrigued by this question because it seems like, is masturbation better than going out and raping somebody because your sexual desires are really strong? Seems like yes. But all things being perfect, seems like it naturally obvious that it's kind of like what your presumption is from a worldview point of view, how you're going to come at it. If you think procreation has a purpose, and obviously I think at the end of the day, everybody's going to say human beings, procreation, more human beings. It's like, is it virtuous to have children in a world, it's kind of like, do we think humans are good or not? Like the idea of people having extending families and having so that love can all things being perfect, it's better to have humans because that's what we are. So is that a natural thought? And there's so many things that come into bear on this, and what kind of perspective you're coming at it from. You get what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. And well, especially in the case of young people. So like before you develop a relationship and have a partner, and you're too young to procreate, say, like, couldn't masturbation be an exercise that actually makes one a better lover for when they do have a spouse later? They learn more about delayed gratification, what their do's and don'ts are, things like that, by self exploration. You can't learn that in a vacuum.
Yeah, right. I mean, you could ask the question too about because a lot of people would say living with somebody before you're married is so you understand the ins and outs of living with somebody else, and whether they put the toothpaste back right and put the toilet seat down. There's you can make the case for that. I would just say, ideally, if you're a committed person, that's the whole thing with divorce too. It's should people suck it up a little more and stick it out for the sake of their family? Well, what if they don't have kids? It's there's so many factors that come to bear, but and then if you're going to come at it from a practical point of view, but then those questions become, what's practical is often a way of saying, because people aren't perfect, you're being reasonable. It's should you come at it from that perspective? And I think you could argue either way. I would say, there's so many things coming into my mind about this sort of issue, whether it's good or bad. You mean is masturbation when you're young bad? Well, is it good? Because it's everyone's going to do it. So it's it depends. Are you condemning them for it? Ultimately condemning them? Or are you just saying, all things being perfect, that's probably not the ideal way to go? So so many things that come into play. Seems like it's for a purpose. And I can think of ways you could use it practically, like you said, if your goal is, I'm going to do this constrained, I'm not going to grow in fantasizing about my sexual gratification, but I'm going to do it to practice for my wife. It's is that reasonable to think you could do it that way, that it's not dangerous in the sense where you become obsessive with sexual, fantasy, which is only going to strengthen your resolve to desire sexual fantasies that aren't ideal, stuff like that. You could ask those questions. I mean, I have friends that used to say, is it wrong for a man who's married to masturbate if he only thinks about his wife? So I don't know.
Yeah. In the video before, the guy was talking about using masturbation as a substitute, like if he's fighting with his wife. And some people put a lot more emphasis on the lusting part of it. It's not about the act itself. It's about the thought you're having of wanting that person, where it's overpowering your wanting to be with God or something like that. I guess it falls into that category.
Yeah, it reminds me of the kind of the clinical question about methadone clinics, because I used to be in a methadone clinic for many years, and some people will argue that it's kind of like the practical question. We've got all these drug addicts, or a needle exchange. Is a needle exchange a good? Because it's going to prevent the spread of disease, because we have this problem of people having drug addictions. I think, for instance, a needle exchange that stands by the rule of, okay, you exchange your used needle for one good needle so that you don't use a used needle. That seems worthwhile. But when it devolves into just handing out free needles to all the drug addicts by the bagful, and they don't have to exchange their old one, it kind of defeats the purpose, for instance. But does that undermine the notion of doing a needle exchange? No, I don't think so. I think that's worthy to do just to prevent the problem that's already, a huge problem. Our methadone, is that good? It's going to keep a bunch of people that would be more harmful, not under the supervision of a clinic, stealing, it gets them into counseling, and it's a middle ground because of the issue. You could make an argument for masturbation like that, but you could still question whether or not that's the way you want to go about the issue. The Bible even speaks.
you say like a few bad apples don't outweigh the benefits overall.
Yeah, like I at this point, I think methadone clinics are good because of the issues that are just exist. You could probably make the same argument about masturbation. There's circumstances where like preventing someone from being able to masturbate could somehow, however that would work. But it's just kind of like an ideal. Like what you're saying is good. Can you come up with a scenario where it's the lesser of two evils? Yeah, I think so.
And Carol says in the side chat, she's ASEC. I have to try to remember to masturbate for its benefits. She has no desire. What would you think about somebody like that? Like the woman didn't have a desire, but she was, she had the desire to be with her husband, but she didn't have the desire for sex, and she had to explore herself with masturbation in order to achieve, a gratified sexual relationship with her husband.
That seems healthy. Perhaps, I'm not sure. It's a good scenario to consider. I just jumped in because I was listening, and I'm working, so I got to go. But it's interesting.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you coming by, Jamie. I like being able to pick your brain. Yeah, we should definitely chat.
For sure,
I find
man.
it very fast.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I'll see you later. Have a good one.
All right, take it easy. Let's see, I could probably link up to Jamie's channel here real quick while I go back on YouTube. I think he was just, oh no, that was the other guy. Yeah, so I always wonder why it's a shunned practice. I've always seen it as something that, like, when the guy was talking about making it a routine earlier, and like Carol was saying, like, because for me, I'm used to being a very sexual being, so I notice if I don't have desire for a number of days, and so I have to wonder, well, maybe something's off. Maybe I have to coax myself, because I definitely have lust when I'm out and about, but that doesn't, necessarily. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm a very codependent person, so I have feelings of loneliness, and sometimes through masturbation that's alleviated a bit. Of course, it can make you feel more lonely too when you overdo it. So, like with anything else, it's going to be a delicate balance in your psyche. But yeah, again, I think it's something that's necessary. I notice when I don't do it, and but I'm accustomed to doing it. And now it's going to give me problems. The heat is getting up there a little bit. I wanted to do it when it was a little bit cooler out. It's not as hot today. All the devices were overheating yesterday, which I think was a big part of the problem. It's going to take a long time. Yeah, definitely need to get a fan out here. I'm gonna be here all week. Yes, my mom took my fan inside, so. Trying to load. There we go. Very slow. How about a commercial?
Lockdown Records presents a Hip Hop Christmas. You'll get such classics as these nuts roasted on an open fire, a sleigh ride in my 64, Annie Up Bitch, It's Christmas, and many more.
Buy that
You can't
shit,
get this 2 CD set.
All right, there we go. It's all coming back to me now. A used napkin and a banana peel. Nice. Oh god, yeah, Chromebook's lagging out pretty bad. I have Twitch over here. I thought I scheduled this to be on Twitch as well, but I'm not sure. Usually I do Twitch on Mondays. Maybe this was supposed to be a special stream and I was going to do a second one for Twitch. I don't remember. I've forgotten I scheduled this stream until Silverwolf reminded me. Thank you, Silverwolf. Uh-oh. Everything's going sideways on this thing. Can I present the video? I think it's frozen. I have never seen this before. Okay. Oh no. All right, well, I don't think this is going to work. Christian Carpenter, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. I didn't get to say hi earlier. So I don't masturbate as often as I used to. Like I said, it's difficult sometimes, but I still think it's a healthy practice. I love that there's, somebody like Jamie who's willing to explore that in depth and open-minded to some of the ideas that I presented, because it's no small thing. You can't have these conversations with everybody. All right, we'll see if we can watch one more video here. Something completely unrelated I wanted to watch. Put it in the list. Reading comments. Yes, Fox. Equality for all people. Absolutely agree. And so, yeah, I mean, that's where I'm gonna wall laugh along with some low-hanging gay jokes. At the same time, I'm like, I didn't put it in here. I'm very much for equality. I think most gay men laugh at the low-hanging gay jokes, though, especially as they relate to Christian worldview. And, never mind the whole part where you're supposed to be attracted to another man if you're Christian because Jesus, yeah, that's the whole. See, women, it's okay. They can just say, "My lover's Jesus," But if a man says that, it's obviously gay. So I didn't put it in here. Oh no, maybe it's in my history. Still never finished that Answers in Genesis video yesterday because of all the all the errors we're experiencing now. At the speed of a turtle. Go down. Yeah, I found this earlier. I didn't get to watch it yet. I'm getting turned on to some different channels. Oh, okay. So this one. Let's look this up actually. Where was it? I can't remember. I'm totally drawing a brain fart. I was going to review a video that I saw on Toasty's stream. Damn it. Wish I could remember. I do not want to watch Toasty's stream on here. Some hot takes that I don't agree with, but I wanted to watch the video that she was checking out. Now I've like totally drawn a blank on where it happened. It's a police encounter video at a Walmart. Let's look at that. Walmart, I think it's in New York. See if that brings it up. This one. All right. Wasn't too far off. No. Trigger warning. Trigger warning on this video. Oh shit. Am I still sharing my screen? No, I got kicked out of the stream apparently while I was searching that. See? That's where the second device serves well. Because I'm still over here talking, but my screen got kicked out. What's up, Mac the Human? Good to see you, Joe Day. So this is completely unrelated to what we were talking about. Completely unrelated. But this video is just, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and I don't recommend anyone here watching Toasty's stream unless you want to get extra triggered. Because I certainly did, but there is something to be said for the way this encounter goes down. It just trips me out. But yeah, there will be some violence. It's not ultra violence, but just so everybody is fairly warned. And there will be ads. It does not appear to be showing up on my screen. I think I got kicked out again. See, I might be able to switch Wi-Fi network. If it ever loads up. Oh, bass guitar is the best instrument to learn on, in my opinion. That was I mean, I had a guitar before that, but I never learned shit, like, 2 chords or something. But once I got the bass, and started going after it, it was, yeah, that's where I really got my chops. Okay, so I'm still in the stream. What the fuck happened? This fucking thing. Yeah, I haven't owned a bass guitar in quite a while. I want to present my screen, motherfucker. Where's the button? This is the weirdest shit right now that's going on. I can't even describe it to you. StreamYard is actually lagging like so far behind on my Chromebook. It's behind the YouTube stream. Like that's how far behind it is. Never in my life. Shit. Oh, it's 420 somewhere, isn't it? Better spark this thing up. Sorry, that was kind of weird. I'm still working with this over on the other side. So. All right. Is it showing now? It is showing now. Oh my goodness. That'd be a good make a video called Docs by Ox. You know, like a compilation of all the times that will flip out like, about you doxing him. I'm sorry, I had to. Docs by Ox. I don't know. Okay, but this is fucking video. Will it play? Oh, it's 2 years old.
Right down there in the black. Right sure to have. He's knowing all the rape and shit and everything else. Supposedly there was a mention of mace, there's other females that were fighting.
3403 here in Walmart, please. 3403. She really just, I got 90 and... What you gonna fucking do right now? They killed my sister, hurt my sister. I didn't give her my sister. Let me grab her. My nephew and my...
Back off.
No, get
Back
off
off.
my sister.
No.
Get off my sister.
Oh, they're still let me do it.
Leave him.
Back off.
Leave him. You're making my daughter.
Back off. Back off.
Get off of her.
Back off right now.
Sir,
Back off.
don't touch
Back
me.
off. You're about to get the same.
All I see is the dude standing at the entrance of the Walmart, and I'm kicked out again. Okay. So, no, not gonna work. Yeah, it froze up on me. Now I can see the video now that I got kicked out of the stream. Alright. I got one more tactic. I'll try switching Wi-Fi spots and see if that works. And if not, just X-native videos. Probably fucking, I don't know. I don't know what else I'm gonna do today. Oh yeah, I gotta call that cash for junk cars place eventually, but which sucks. If I can pay $10,000 for that car. So now I'm connected to the other Wi-Fi network. And looks like it's actually working. Sweet. I'm such a genius. Glad I finally figured this out. Sinister Ox. Yeah, I imagine getting tased sucks. I've never been tased myself, but 16 alts? No fucking way. That's amazing. Yeah, I know there's more primate groups I could probably exploit my own alt. I was telling Silverwolf that how much fun I was having just going around. Stupid monkey. Okay. Actually working now. Ooh, drop what link? YouTube. Oh, so okay. Thank you, Ops. I'm not seeing it over here. Did I get booted again? Nope. 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 It's just taking a second. Still faster than the other one. Okay. I'm waiting for my one stream to catch up to my other stream. All right. I think we're good to go.
Right down there in the black. Right sure to have. He's yelling all the rape and shit.
And just when you thought it was okay.
Supposedly there was a mention of me. There's other females that were like,
3403 heavy.
She really just, I got 90 and... I didn't touch you, bitch. No, you didn't. You can't see anything. What you gonna fucking do right now? They killed my sister, hurt my sister. I didn't kill my sister. Let me grab her. My sister. My nephew and my sister.
back off.
No, get
Back
off
off.
my sister.
No.
Get off my sister.
Back off.
Leave him.
Back off.
Leave him. You're making my dog.
Back off.
Get off of her.
Back off.
Get off of her.
Back off right now.
Why did you do that in front of
Back
kids?
off.
Don't touch
So the angle from this body cam is junk. They're gonna have cell phone video later, so but I'm not sure we're gonna see what happened at the beginning of the altercation before the police actually come in.
Back off. You're about to get the same shit. Back off.
Get your hands off. Leave him. Leave him. I'm black with you. I'm black. It's okay. Let him fuck me. It's okay. Go ahead. You can fuck me. You can fuck me. You can fuck me. Go ahead. It's all right. You can.
And she's saying, "You can cuff me. Go ahead. That's all right." What? Spiraling. Ah, and I got the boot. Well, we tried. Working all right for a while. Probably gonna keep happening. These are getting hot. Yeah, it's a little hot. had a keyboard stand, which I lost somewhere in transit, so give me a new one. Thanks, Carol. Thanks for coming by. It's 1:31 p.m. here now. We tried to have a stream. We tried StreamYard to have a stroke. Yeah. No, it's because I've been stuck on Wi-Fi. I don't have real internet anywhere, so I mean, it says I have strong signal, and now I'm like, as long as it's just me streaming, it's fine. But once I start trying to share tabs and video content, it goes haywire. So what else I can do about that? Whoa, man. See, I can do that. That works. Anyway. I don't know. I'm still playing with it. Learn the ins and outs all the time. There's always something new to learn. Like, hey, what can I experiment with today? I'm a glutton for punishment. Plus, I need to blow time. Like, the more time I spend on here, the more time I'm not out getting into trouble. Although I could go ride my skateboard. My leg's feeling pretty decent today. Still a bit of pain, but it's going down. Definitely a lesson learned there. Well, there's not much I could have done to avoid it other than not skate in that particular spot. I just thought, well, if I roll it slow, I'll be all right. But no, that was not the case. So, those little bumps, man, they're nasty. It's giving me not much more confidence in what's going on. Let's see. So, yeah, there's like a bunch of sperm out there. In when you masturbate, you're like killing like a bunch of like souls, man. 'Cause each sperm has a soul, and I don't know what about all those frozen souls in the tubes, like the sperm donors, like Trees was saying earlier. Um, between 40 million and 1,800 million sperm cells, 40 to 60 million per milliliter, giving an average total of 80 to 300 million sperm per ejaculation. You're killing 80 to 300 million souls every time you masturbate. Just remember that. I mean, on average. Um, I mean, that is if you believe in the soul and all of that stuff, or if you believe that each sperm has a soul. I don't know how that could be possible, but some people would argue. Some people would argue that. You need help with 2 songs to sing your next stream? What are you doing, karaoke, Joe? Or like, what do you mean? Just received a weird ass voicemail that made my ears bleed, like random high pitched noise the whole time. Oh, crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, I would probably call the what's that number? That do not call list. I call them whenever somebody like that fucking, if I get them or the social security scammers, and I call and report them to the the FCC. I think it's the FCC. I don't fuck with that shit. Yeah, the Federal Communications Committee. Yeah, you can report shit like that, and then they'll actually well, they're supposed to actually investigate where those calls are coming from, but you never really get a. Yeah. In part, I'm doing this to test to see if it works, but also to give you the information. These guys, you can actually report through their website, and they actually work. I've used it before because I used to get crazy robocalls and spam people trying to get my social security number and shit. But I've had the same number for years, and I was like, I'm not giving up my phone. And they were like, just change your phone number. I'm like, no, I'm not changing my fucking phone number. I'm gonna keep my phone number, and these jackoffs are gonna stop calling me. So, whoa, dude, what the fuck is all that? It's just supposed to be a fucking. Oh, I accidentally posted the Google link search instead of the website. My bad. Because that's what I do on YouTube videos. So it's like a reflex. Okay, so it's fcc.gov. My bad. I just flooded my own side chat with gobbledygook. I'm a professional streamer. So I can't even share this fucking stream. It's bullshit. But if I have a guest in here who has better internet connection, they can share their screen. And then, yeah, it works. Yeah, go to the FCC website. You fill it out online. It's super simple. And then any number that ever repeatedly spams you or sends you crazy shit, it's yeah. It may take a couple of reports, but it will work. It worked for me anyway, I'll say. So I don't get none of them calls anymore. Back in the day, before I got this one, I still had my California Lifeline phone, which people call an Obama phone, but it had nothing to do with Obama in California because we already had the service here. So yeah, but they'll still call them Obama phones because they're fucking jackasses. Uh, but I had my California Lifeline phone, and I had used that number to essentially doxed my drug dealer. I was mad at him because he was selling to my girlfriend behind my back. And so I was getting like fucking crazy death threats and shit on that phone. But I'm pretty sure that the state of California actually does like have some kind of like, they don't track those phones necessarily, but they have access to them because the state funds them. Like they can access your records and shit. So that is true. But usually they'd only do that like if there were a crime or something, right? It doesn't seem like they'd waste resources just tracking everybody all the time. Wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, would it? Okay, this is interesting. I can no longer see my avatar in my StreamYard. Can you see my avatar in my StreamYard? Or in the stream, rather? Right, because I can't. Okay, I can't see it on this one, but I can see it on this one. Well, thank you. I'm always learning, and persistent. Fuck it. I don't care if I never learn. I'll just keep being persistent. And, I don't know. You don't see it either. Okay, something happened there. Weird now, man. There we go. Oh, he's got the trusty backup avatar. Oh yeah, that's right. This one has the microphone. Almost forgot. Almost forgot which device I was talking into. I don't know why this one's still on. I should probably charge it, I guess. 31%. Yeah, it's not really doing anything for me at this particular moment. I guess I could just like read stuff that I find and post the link, but not share it. And then maybe it won't lag as bad. It's my third cigarette in this stream. Yeah. In an hour and 13. That's very healthy. Okay. Ooh, yes. The Christian's favorite source, Planned Parenthood. We'll read this one. My tummy's grumbling. Probably time for lunch almost. We'll read this article at Planned Parenthood's website. Is masturbation healthy? What's that button? Come on, Abe. All right. So there's two sections. One is just masturbation, and then two is masturbation healthy? This is written by, probably tell me at the end, I suppose. It doesn't give me the source at the top, so. All right. You may have heard some crazy things about masturbation being bad for you, like it makes you grow hair in weird places, it causes infertility, it shrinks your genitals, or once you start masturbating, you'll become addicted to it. None of that's true. Masturbation isn't unhealthy or bad for you at all. Masturbation can actually be good for your health, both mentally and physically, and it's pretty much the safest sex out there. There's no risk of getting pregnant or getting an STD. When you have an orgasm, your body releases endorphins, which are hormones that block pain and make you feel good. The good feelings that come with an orgasm happen whether you're masturbating or having sex. Plenty of research has shown the health benefits of masturbation. Masturbation can release sexual tension, reduce stress, help you sleep better, improve your self-esteem and body image, help treat sexual problems, relieve menstrual cramps and muscle tension, strengthen muscle tone in your pelvic and anal areas. Masturbation also helps you figure out what you like sexually. Where do you want to be touched? How much pressure feels good? How fast or slow? Learning how to have orgasms on your own can make it easier to have one with a partner, because you can tell or show them what feels good. And when you're comfortable with sex, your body, and talking to your partner, you're more likely to feel comfortable protecting yourself against STDs and unintended pregnancy. How much masturbation is too much? Some people masturbate often, every day, or even more than once a day. I used to be in the latter type. Some people masturbate closer to once a week, once every few weeks, or every now and then. Some people never masturbate, and that's fine too. All of these are perfectly normal. Masturbation only becomes too much if it gets in the way of your job, your responsibilities, or your social life. If that's a problem for you, you may want to talk to a counselor or a therapist. Some people learn when they're young that masturbating is wrong or bad, so they feel guilty about doing it. If you feel that way, try to remember that most people masturbate. It's perfectly normal, and there's nothing wrong with it. Talking to a counselor or therapist may help if you have trouble getting over guilty feelings. All right. And there is absolutely no actual source to who wrote this. It's just so okay, that's fine. That's fine. Oh no, so this was the second portion actually. I read the second portion, which is masturbation healthy, and there's the first portion on masturbation itself. This is just informative. Um, just had to fuck with it. Let's see what they have to say. Masturbation. It's totally normal to masturbate. Touch yourself for sexual pleasure. Whether you're sexually active with other people or not, masturbation has health benefits like reducing stress. Okay, so this is just going to explain that most people do masturbate, and even people who are in relationships sometimes masturbate. Okay, so that was all very informative. I'd like to find something a little more scientific, but that was a nice message. Okay. Is there a... No, not that one. Men's health. These are all like pop culture. We'll add research to the criterion. We're a little more specific here. It's gonna be basically the same shit. Okay, well, we'll go with this one, the Cleveland Clinic. That's actually a fucking medical organization. Well, I guess Planned Parenthood is too, but let's see. Like, okay, so does this article have citations? No, no citation. I need citations. I can't just have this. It's not gonna work for me. Okay. Citation fucking needed. I'll put that in the Google search. How about that? There, wait. Okay. Now, this is another government website from the National Institute of Health, but let's see. Hopefully they will actually have fucking citations. Yes. There are citations, but there we go. Okay. That's much better. Now we're live. As my papa would have said. Okay, masturbation, prevalence, frequency, reasons, and associations with partnered sex in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, findings from a U.S. nationally representative survey. Abstract. Despite well-documented individual, relational, and health benefits, masturbation has been stigmatized and is understudied compared to partnered sex. In a U.S. nationally representative survey of adults, we aim to 1. Assess the prevalence and frequency of participants' prior year masturbation. 2. Describe reasons people give for not masturbating. 3. Describe reasons people give for masturbating. And 4. Examine the association between masturbation frequency and the actual or desired partnered sex frequency in the prior year. Significantly more men than women reported lifetime masturbation, past month masturbation, and greater masturbation frequency. The most frequently endorsed reasons for masturbating related to pleasure, feeling horny, stress relief, and relaxation. The most frequently endorsed reasons for not masturbating were lack of interest, being in a committed relationship, conflict with morals or values, or being against one's religion. Among women, those who desired partnered sex much more often and little more often were at 3.89 times, or 95%, CI 2.98, 5.08. Okay, I don't understand those numbers. But it sounds like that's a 95% like that do? Wait. Among women, those who desired partnered sex much more often and little more often were 3.89 times and 2.7 times, respectively, more likely to report higher frequencies of past year masturbation than those who desired no change in their partnered sex frequency. I'm going to read that sentence again without the, so there's figures and asterisks that are relevant to us, right? We're going to read the meat of it. Among women, those who desired partnered sex much more often and little more often were 3.89 times high and 2.7 times, respectively, more likely to report higher frequencies of past year masturbation than those who desired no change in their partnered sex frequency. Okay, so among men, those who desired partnered sex much more often and little more often were 4.40 times and 2.37 times, respectively, more likely to report higher frequencies of past year masturbation activity than those who reported that they desired no change in their current partnered sex frequency. Findings provide contemporary U.S. population level data on patterns of adult masturbation. They're saying that they're more likely to report higher frequencies if they're not in a healthy, committed sexual partnership. It makes sense? Like, okay. Right? I don't, that's what I. Okay, in the field of public health, sexual behavior data are routinely collected in U.S. nationally representative surveillance surveys, including the National Survey of Family Growth, Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance Survey, and National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey from the CDC. Assessing population-level sexual behaviors helps to benchmark behaviors, examine trends over time, and provides data for age-appropriate sexuality education curricula. In a 2012 inventory of nationally representative surveys and surveillance systems, CDC researchers noted that sexual health behavior data from such surveys can help characterize normative and evolving sexual health behaviors, as well as inform policy development and age-appropriate prevention programs. However, these surveys focus their assessments on partnered sex behaviors, given their risk for public health outcomes of interest such as STIs and unintended pregnancies. Masturbation is rarely addressed in broader public health surveillance studies, leaving surveys that focus specifically on sexual behavior to assess its prevalence, frequency, and correlates. Solo masturbation is a common form of sexual expression across the lifespan without risk of pregnancy or sexually transmitted infections, and regardless of partner availability or interest. Masturbation can help people explore their sexuality, experience pleasure, and learn about their bodily responses in a way that may support healthy sexual development, self-esteem, and body positivity. Indeed, masturbation is often included as part of therapeutic treatment plans, treatment plans for sexual difficulties such as premature ejaculation and anorgasmia. Despite these well-documented individual, relational, and health benefits, masturbation has been stigmatized, particularly for women, prohibited, and remains understudied in comparison with research on partnered sex, reflecting far less scientific attention to how people behave sexually with themselves than with other people. Okay, there's just a shit ton of citations in here, like a lot. Okay, a lot. So let's see if we can kind of parse through this. It'll take a while to read this whole article. So in the 2009 National Survey of Sexual Behavior, U.S. Nationally Representative Survey, 5,865 men and women aged 14 to 94, 28% of men ages 70 plus, 43% of men ages 14 to 15, and 60 to 69, and more than half of men ages 16 to 59 reported having engaged in solo masturbation in the prior month. So, and 20% of women across the lifespan reported solo masturbation in the prior month, with rates exceeding 40% only for women ages 20 to 29, and with 12% of women over 70 years of age reporting past month masturbation. More recently, in a comparison of sexual behaviors reported in the 2009 and 2018 waves of the NSSHB, although all forms of partnered sex assessed had decreased from 2009 to 2018. Solo masturbation among adults did not decline during this time frame. So partnered sex decreased, but masturbation did not. Since that time, the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted daily life around the world, and studies have shown that the increase in solo masturbation toward the beginning of the pandemic, though the population-level data are needed, as close contact with infected individuals can increase the risk of SARS-CoV-2 transmission, public health agencies have recommended changes to many activities of daily life, including sex. These have included identifying safer ways to be sexual, such as solo masturbation and technology-mediated sexual activities, e.g. video-based sex, which a lot of people have begun doing, right? Like, I've heard about this during COVID. So based on the studies, again, common reasons people give for masturbating: release sexual tension, feel sexual pleasure, experience orgasm, learn about their body, help fall asleep, love oneself, and because they're having less partnered sex than they'd like. Frequently endorsed reasons for not masturbating include lack of privacy, religious and cultural shame, stigma, and partner disapproval, among others. So yeah, there's a lot here. I'm kind of skipping through the article a little bit. The aims of the present research were to, in a U.S. nationally representative survey of adults, assess the prevalence and frequency of the participants' prior year masturbation, describe the reasons people give for not masturbating, describe the reasons people give for masturbating, and examine the association between masturbation frequency and actual desired partner sex frequency in the prior year. Also, we hypothesized that significantly more young adults as compared to older adults would endorse masturbation as a form of risk reduction during the COVID-19 pandemic. And they give an overview of the participants. A particular survey group called Knowledge Panel. They were able to get 7,138 Okay, so that's the sampling frame. Of these 4,375 individuals visited the page, reviewed the consent form, indicated their consent to participate, and completed at least some of the survey. 61.2% partial response rate. Okay, so that's kind of disparaging, right? But 3,878 proceeded to the end of the survey and are included in the analytic data set, which is a 54.3% complete response rate. So that's a pretty low number, I mean, as far as statistics are concerned, but get what you get. And they have a table here showing the numbers. So you're asked, how recently have you masturbated? And within the past year, how many times you think? And then reasons is showing a sample of the survey itself. If you're good with numbers, yeah. Statistical analysis. All analyses were conducted using the statistical software Stata version 15. Those who had missing masturbation data were excluded from analysis. Weighted demographic and relationship characteristics, masturbation history, and reasons for masturbating and not masturbating in the past year are presented by gender. Chi-squared tests that were used to identify statistically significant gender differences. Ordinal logistic regression was used to identify statistically significant predictors of the recency of masturbation and past year masturbation frequency. Potential predictors that were statistically significantly associated with masturbation in bivariate analysis were included in the adjusted models. Ordinal logistic regression models were also conducted to examine the association between actual and ideal partnered sex frequency and masturbation frequency in the past year. Demographic and relationship characteristics that were significantly associated with the past year masturbation frequency in bivariate analysis were included as covariate in the final adjusted model. Bivariate. I don't know why I'm pronouncing it weird. Bivariate. So bivariate analysis refers to the analysis of two variables to determine relationships between them, often reported in quality of life research. Okay, and then there's a bivariate correlation. Okay. So results. The results you've all been waiting for. A weighed total of 1,958 women and 1,784 men were included in the analysis. 28 individuals, or 0.8% of the sample, identified as transgender women, transgender men, or gender non-binary. We present descriptive data for the gender diverse participants. However, the gender diverse sample sizes were insufficient for subsequent predictive analysis. The mean age of participants was 48.3 years for women and 48.1 years for men. Approximately 30% of the sample was 60 years old or older. Most participants were non-Hispanic, white, 62% women, 64% men, heterosexual, 87% women, 91% men, and in one romantic relationship, 71% women, 70% men. Men reported a higher annual household income than women, and more women reported an LGBTQ plus sexual identity than men. Past year sex frequency was similar between genders, with 34.3% of respondents reporting no partnered sex at all in the past year, and 5% reporting partnered sex almost every day. Desired partnered sex frequency was significantly greater among men compared to women. 40.7% of men reporting desired partnered sex much more often, while only 21.4% of women reported the same. The women are actually saying they're not getting Both masturbation recency and masturbation frequency differed significantly by gender. In terms of recency, approximately 60% of men reported engaging in masturbation in the prior month as compared to 36% of women. Also, about 1/4 of women reported never having engaged in solar masturbation, compared with 10% of men. For gender non-binary participants, 11 indicated they had masturbated in the prior month, and 1 indicated having never masturbated. Also, 5 of 6 transgender women reported having masturbated in the prior month. Of the transgender men, 7 had masturbated in the prior month, 2 had masturbated in the prior year, and 1 had never masturbated. Masturbation frequency in the past year was significantly higher among men compared to women. For example, 35.9% of men and 8.8% of women reported having masturbated at least once a week in the prior year. 2 of the gender non-binary participants reported masturbating almost every day. 5 had masturbated 2 to 3 times per week. 1 had masturbated about once a week, and 2 a few times per month. For transgender women, 1 had masturbated almost every day, 3 masturbated 2 to 3 times per week, and 1 masturbated a few times per month. For transgender men, 3 masturbated almost every day, 3 masturbated 2 to 3 times per week, and 1 masturbated once a week, and 3 masturbated once a month. Reasons for not masturbating in the prior year. As shown in Table 2, among the reasons for not masturbating in the prior year, the most common was, "I'm just not interested." 68.7% women and 49.1% men. Followed by, "I'm in a committed relationship." 12.6% women, 20.2% men. Also, 8% of women and 9% of women indicated that they didn't masturbate because it's against their religion. Fewer than 5% of the participants indicated that they didn't masturbate due to feeling uncomfortable with their body, lack of privacy, belief that their masturbation is bad for one's health, feeling like they're cheating on their partner because their partner doesn't want them to, feeling bad about themselves afterwards, or because they're trying to stop watching pornography. Oh yeah, it's boggling the mind, right? Only the numbers. Women were significantly more likely than men to report lack of interest and discomfort with one's body as reasons for not masturbating in the past year. Men were significantly more likely than women to report not masturbating in the past year due to partner-related reasons. Men were also more likely to indicate that they didn't masturbate because they felt it was bad for their health or for other reasons, which they wrote in as old age, feeling satisfied by their partner, health issues, erection problems, spouse passed away, and preferring partnered sex. Of the gender diverse participants, 1 of 12 gender non-binary individuals, 0 of 6 transgendered women, and 1 of 11 transgendered men reported not masturbating in the prior year. The gender non-binary participant indicated they were just not interested. The transgender man endorsed reasons related to the lack of privacy, lack of interest, being against his religion, feeling bad about his body, as well as the relational issues, feeling like they're cheating or their partner does not want them to. Okay. We have reasons for masturbating in the prior year. So I find it pleasurable. 63% women, 65% men. I'm feeling horny. 49% women, 54% men. Relieve stress. 36% women, 36% men. I want to relax. 25% women, 26% men. Help me fall asleep. 25% women, 21% men. Fewer than 5% of participants indicated that they had masturbated to be safer due to the COVID-19 pandemic or because their partner wants them to masturbate. Women were significantly more likely than men to endorse to help me fall asleep or to explore my own sexuality as reasons for masturbating in the past year. Reasons volunteered by participants included not having a partner, not having enough partnered sex, feeling that masturbation is a safer sexual behavior during pregnancy, reading erotica or watching porn, wanting to, and health-related reasons, e.g. prostate health, pain relief, partner has pain during sex, what? Among others. I'm okay. Men were more significantly likely than women to endorse the following reasons for masturbating in the past year. There's nothing else to do. I'm feeling horny. I'm not getting as much sex as I want. I enjoy my fantasies during masturbation because even though I try, I just can't stop myself. Or I'm so aroused that it's interfering with other things I want or need to do. These are women, right? All right, okay. Of the gender diverse participants, 11 of 12 gender non binary individuals, 5 of 6 transgender women, and 10 of 11 transgender men provided reasons for masturbating in the prior year. Common reasons were related to pleasure. 11 of 12 non binary, 5 of 6 transgender women, and 2 of 7 transgender men. Feeling horny, 11 non binary, 4 transgender women, 8 transgender men. To fall asleep, 6 non binary, 1 transgender woman, 4 transgender men. Not getting as much partnered sex as desired, 4 non binary, 2 transgender men. No transgender women, apparently. Relaxation, 3 non binary, 1 transgender woman, 3 transgender men. Enjoying fantasy, 3 non binary, 3 non binary, 2 transgender women, 5 transgender men. Stress relief, 8 non binary, 2 transgender women, 3 transgender men. Inability to stop oneself, 2 transgender men. Sexual frustration, 4 non binary. Sexual exploration, 1 transgender woman. Due to partner wanting it, none. Arousal interferes with other things, 4 non binary, 3 transgender men. Nothing else to do, 4 non binary, 1 transgender woman, 1 transgender man. Seems safer due to COVID-19, 2 non binary participants. Getting tongue tied. Okay. As shown in Supplementary Table 1, our hypothesis related to masturbation as a COVID risk reduction strategy was supported, though men's reports drove this trend. Age differences were observed among men, but not women for those who endorsed due to COVID-19. It seems safer to masturbate than to have sex with people that could put me at risk as a reason for having masturbated in the prior year. Specifically, 10.2% of 18 to 24-year-old men, compared to 2 to 5% of men in older age categories. Among women, 5.6% of 18 to 24-year-olds endorsed this reason, as did 0 to 5% of women in older age categories. Participants who were younger, who were men, and with a higher education and higher annual household income and a non-heterosexual sexual identity were more likely to report both more recent and more frequent masturbation after adjusting for their covariates in the table, older age, and those who reported a race or ethnicity of Black, non-Hispanic, or other non-Hispanic, as compared to white participants, were less likely than white participants to report more recent masturbation. For masturbation frequency, these same demographic characteristics predicted less frequent masturbation in the prior year, as did being in a current romantic relationship. And we have another table. A couple more. This is a lengthy article. Okay, and there we are with the conclusion and supplementary information at the bottom. There's quite a bit more meat in there if anybody wants to go read the length of this. So the conclusion is, our findings add to a growing body of literature on solo masturbation. Sexuality educators may find these data helpful to update sexual health curricula, especially given calls for sex-positive education that is inclusive of masturbation. Clinicians may also find these data useful in terms of contextualizing clients' reasons for and for not masturbating, as well as talking through the ways that masturbation and partnered sex may be interconnected for some people. Finally, our data may serve to mark a particular moment in the time during the COVID-19 pandemic that subsequent researchers can use as a benchmark to understanding ongoing shifts of solo and partnered sexual activities. And So when you looked at it, I mean, I'd say a lot more women are masturbating. So you got that. Ooh, Mikey Stews 4 is live. Very nice. 146. I might go check that out and then head over there. Yeah, I used to be of the school of thought that I mean, men for sure should masturbate every day. I was like, you gotta if you're not, then there's something wrong with your sex drive, right? But that was always like in expectation of having a partner, right? And now as I get older, like, what if I don't have another partner ever again? Maybe if it's just always this way, and I'm like, okay, then I'm just spending fluids, right? I could just spend my time and energy doing anything, but at the same time, it does help me relax before bed. It does, maybe have these other benefits. So I don't know. And then sometimes you feel tension. It comes on, sexual tension, like where you just have to get it out. For me, anyway. But yeah, maybe I should participate in one of those surveys or something. Figure out how to do that. I signed up to do surveys, but it was more like consumer surveys. So I don't know how to do these scientific or government surveys. Find out how you get signed up for those. Yeah, I never really took any of the consumer surveys. I think I took one, and then they never paid me. They were supposed to pay me to do it. They never paid me, as far as I recall. So I don't know whatever happened with that. It's getting hot in here, so take out all your clothes. I am getting so. Oh. See what happens if I try this now. Yeah, I don't think it was a scam. I think they're pretty legit. I think I didn't complete something that I was supposed to complete or something. Like I completed the survey itself, but I didn't complete whatever I was supposed to do to get my end of whatever it was. I don't remember. It wasn't that much. $25 for a few minutes or something like that. Oh, that's funny. Now I've got is masturbation has been coming up as in my recommended when as soon as I load my own pages. Another fucking video. Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can open this. I'll at least share the link. Mikey's doing Topic Time, a new series for him. I want to support that. Mikey Seuss 4 has been a friend over here at the channel. Some very interesting stuff over there. We've had some good chat. If I can, I'll share the video. At least I can share the link. It's probably where I head when I wrap up here. Probably kick me out again. It's fine. Hit the like button, damn you. I don't even have my harmonica with me. It's sad. I just play some music, but can't. I can drum on my knees. Oh. Nope. StreamYard hates me. Oh yeah. Forgot I did this that one time. I wonder if I have it still saved in here. Let's see. How do I do this? Files. Yeah, 2:22. I almost want to take a nap. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, the wrong shit. Recording. Oh. Good God, there's a lot of stuff in here. How much should I have saved? Alright. You can type. Oh no. Alright. What is this? Okay. Well, that's not gonna work like I thought it would. Oh shit. I think I got myself kicked out of the stream again. Perfect timing. Nice. You should. Music streams are the tip. Anytime I get on, bro just what kind of little thing he has there, but where Orlo's playing his thing, you know. Yeah, the little guitars and just when you hear people like actually like successfully jam a little bit and get down on a music stream, it's fun. I like to do that. I have a guitar here, but it has no strings. But yeah, I had to do something for fitness a little bit too. It's just too damn hot out right now.
Come and eat, We all come from apes, but I don't throw ape in every conversation. Use ape to define myself. Use ape as an excuse to defecate in my thumbless mitt and then hurl it at you. I'm sorry, did I just splatter you with wet feces? I'm sorry, I have a very rich ape upbringing, a strong ape heritage. I'm an ape.
Love old Dougie Stanhope. That guy's fucking hilarious. Alright. Well, I'm gonna sign off, I guess, tell everybody to have a great evening or afternoon or whatever time it is, wherever you are. At the Christian Carpenter, Gaming with Silver Wolf. Suck at playing guitar, but picked up a banjo for over 30 years. Well, I'm sure if you play the banjo, you can play the guitar. You just gotta have the right instruction. I never wanted to be a guitar player, but hey, here I am. I saw Carol Kay back there. Look at the trees. Of course, I had Jamie Russell from Christian Middle Earth here earlier. A little bit of a discussion. Joe Day. I saw Ock. I'll make sure I get everybody this time. I'm going to do it, I swear. I'm going to do it. It's going to be great. Gaming with Silver Wolf. Mac the Human. Mac the Human came back for a bit. It was a lively chat today, as I always appreciate. And much love to everybody. Be well, be kind, and stay trusting. And promote equality for all people. Put that back up there. And God bless them. I bring up old shit, but you want to come back over here, we fucking talk about it. I'm not fucking cutting you off. You're cutting me off. That's your fucking prerogative, bro. I didn't do shit. Well, now I did shit, but I didn't do shit before that. So I ain't your enemy. Alright. But whatever. It's all fucking water under the bridge. Be well, be trusty, and love each other. Always. Unconditionally. Yeah, I say that's a good Christian ideal, right? That's what real Christians believe. I don't know. I don't know much about nothing. I just know I'm gonna go have some late lunch and watch the Mikey Shoes 4 channel. So I'll see y'all later.
But so many people say that they want to see the light. They want to be enlightened. They want to dissolve into the light of God. Then when they've done that, all over again, the process goes on, and it blows out those mud balls. And here are planets, and here once again, you're a baby. You're a child. The flowers are brilliantly colored. The stars are gorgeous. The smell of the earth, the sound of the rain, everything is marvelous once again. And once again you see the other, the man, the woman that you love. As if it had never happened before.